The 6-4 Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading to town take on the 8-2 Los Angeles Rams at SoFi Stadium. This game kicks off at 5:50 p.m. on NBC and Peacock. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, and Melissa Stark will be on the call. No distribution map, of course, because this is a nationally televised game. Sunday night football prime time under the SoFi lights. Gotta love that. For you bettors out there, Rams are -6.5, -330 on the money line. The over-under sitting at 49.5. So the books are ballparking this game about 28-21 in favor of the Rams. Let's get into our pants picks here. The game that is sweeping the nation. I don't know why you don't play. Your mom does. It's a blast, man. It's for everybody. Everybody can participate. The Rams are in white jerseys at home for the game against the Bucs this weekend, and clean sweep. We're all going soul, dude. We are me, Peyoton, Tuna, Rams House. We're soul sisters out here, dude. And we also got a comment on the YouTube channel. Another pick for soul. So it's just soul across the board, dude, which is pretty cool stuff. But the Rams in the white jerseys at home versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who will be wearing their regular reds. So good stuff there. I'll tell you my purpose behind going soul is that this is the Aaron Donald kind of honor game, and they're giving away the bobblehead, the Super Bowl GOAT bobblehead thing. And I mean, I figured if we're going to wear white jerseys to honor Aaron Donald in some capacity, then we're probably going to rock what we wore in the Super Bowl, right? White on soul? I mean, that's the best look for the Rams. I think that's, as much as I love like bone on soul and stuff like that, I love that combo. As far as like a classic, just a genuine, just badass uniform combo, the royal helmet, white jersey, and then soul pants on the Rams. I just think that's like the most legendary look coming from our Rams, which is cool stuff. Take a look at the history of this matchup here. This is the 30th all-time meeting between the Rams and the Buccaneers. The Rams lead the all-time series 19-10. First ever game between these two came on November 6th of 1977. That was a 31-0 win by the Rams. That was also, though, in fairness, that was like that era of Bucs football that was like notably terrible when they had just started. Most recent game between these two came on November 6th of 2022. So what is that, exactly 55 years later, something like that? And then our most recent game that was a 16-13 win by the Buccaneers. Rams have won 3 of the last 4 and 8 of the last 10 against the Bucs, so doing a good job there. Bucs' longest win streak was 3. That came in 2000 to 2002, which crazy because I don't know if you remember those years for the Rams, but very, very good. That game in 2000, by the way, did happen in December of 2000, so it was the following season. I know what you're thinking. You're like, they didn't lose. They won that game. It was the NFC Championship. I know. Okay, I know 11-6. I was there. Not there, but I was alive. But that game was December of 2000. And then they didn't play in 2003. Rams won again in 2004. So that playoff game, like I said, January of 2000. Some notable matchups on this one. I'm gonna request some help on this. This may be a trend that we do here regularly. Just because I'll tell you the games that I remember. I know that there is others. I know that there were other crazy games, but that's where you come in, dude. I was born in 1991, dude. I need some help, man. I need some help. I need you to tell me what your favorite games are between these two teams. But for me, some notable moments here. Rams defeating Tom Brady at home during the playoffs. I'll take that all day. That was he's got cup again, which is absolutely pinnacle business, man. You can't get better than that. Absolutely love it. The Rams defeated the Bucs in 2000 to go to the Super Bowl. This is a game we just talked about, 11-6. Dude, that catch was so crispy, man. Bucs fans will tell you it was incomplete, too, but they're just liars. You got to watch out for that. Rams, Bucs in Tampa. There was the crazy game. I don't remember the exact year. It must have been like 2015, maybe 14. There was that crazy long lightning delay. I was sitting at the bar, and I'm just like, eventually like, okay, man, geez, like, I've been sitting here for like 2.5 hours. Like, it was a while. I don't know exactly how long the lightning delay was, but the game comes back, and there's like a minute and a half to go. Like, that whole delay was like, can we just end the game real quick? Like, it's probably gonna be okay, I know the rules, but yeah, it was one of those where it kind of came back and there was just a couple minutes left, and the Bucs kind of start driving a little bit, but they get to 4th down, and then Jameis Winston rolls out to the left, and as he's kind of looking, he passes the line of scrimmage, and he looks like he's still looking for a pass, and then Robert Quinn just comes up behind him. Now, I'm imagining that that's the noise he made when he did it. unconfirmed, but I feel pretty good about it. But those are from my lifetime, the games that I remember and recall and kind of hold closely to me as far as the Rams-Bucs history goes. But I want to know your favorite Rams-Bucs games below, wherever you can hear or see me. Lots to look for in this game. On the Bucs side, by the way, we did get a report here recently as I started recording that Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield, Emeka Egbuka, and were among 6 players who were limited in practice today because of an illness. I've got no further details on that. Like I said, it kind of happened as I'm sitting here talking to you, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on with them, but something to keep our eyes on. Those are big names, so something going around the Bucs locker room, which is unfortunate heading into this game. But the Bucs have lost their last 2 games. That was home against the Patriots and at the Bills. So a couple of AFC losses. That's not something that's going to absolutely murder you, but obviously you want to be able to pull out any wins that you can. This is the Bucs' final road game until December 21st. If I'm not mistaken, it's the 19th. That's like a little under a month until they hit the road again. So after this, they go home for quite a while. They'll play a few games there, of course. 4 of the last 5 and 5 of the last 7 games for the Bucs are on the road. So they'll have their stretch. Yeah. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. I feel pretty good about it. In their last 2 losses, the Bucs have scored 23 and 32 points, respectively. So they are still scoring, but not getting it done on defense. That passing defense, I think, is becoming a little bit of a liability for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Also, doing research for this game, I always run over depth charts, rosters, coaching staffs, and all that stuff. Front offices, just to kind of see if I recognize any names. I've covered this team for like 14 years, so a lot of these names, even like quick little practice squad guys, I've mentioned them here, so they tend to stick out to me sometimes. But one thing that stuck out to me when I was researching the Buccaneers and their coaching staff is all their coaches, dude. They have too many. I think they have too many coaches. So this is just their coordinators, head coach and coordinators. Head coach Todd Bowles, great guy. Run game coordinator and offensive line coach Kevin Carberry. Passing game coordinator George Edwards. Run game coordinator for the defense and outside linebacker coach Larry Foote, former player, awesome guy. Offensive coordinator Josh Grizzard. Passing game coordinator, I'm going to go with Hinson. I'm not sure the pronunciation there, and then a special teams coordinator Thomas McGahee. So you've got head coach, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 coordinators. Tampa, what are we doing, dude? And then I think there's like 20. Yeah, I didn't write it down. There's like 23 other coaches on the roster outside of these 6 coordinators and a head coach. Bro, what are we doing out here, man? That's a lot of coordinating. That's a lot of coordination, man. On the Rams side, Rams could be 9-1 in control of the NFC, of course, if it hadn't blown the lead in Week 3 to Philadelphia. The other loss was in overtime against San Fran, so the Rams could very easily be a 10-0 team right now. You almost don't want to be, and I know that hurts your heart to hear that, but that's a lot of pressure when you're sitting there with an undefeated season, going into Week 12. People are talking about you, So you almost want a loss or 2 in there just so people kind of shut up. Don't talk about us until like Week 17, dude, all right? I guess it makes me nervous. Rams, like I said, second in the NFC right now, first in the NFC West with wins over Seattle and San Fran. They did split with San Fran, so those wins are in their pocket right now, of course. But the win over San Fran for the Rams was bigger than the Niners win over the Rams. That was an overtime 3-point win for the Niners. Rams just kicked them right in the jugulars. So bigger win for us. That win looks stronger. They were both on the road though, so that's true. That's true. That's just a fact. I don't know what it means, but it is true. Also, we did get the news earlier today on Wednesday. Rams have added 3 players to IR this week, which makes me feel nervous. And also, the players that we added, I think, are a little bit of a surprise. So we got the information on Quentin Lake that he did have surgery on Tuesday, which does jump out to me because we were just hearing on Tuesday from Sean McVay saying, like, well, we're going to see. I mean, he's a pretty tough guy, so, we'll see. I was not expecting that it was going to be, he was already in surgery, you know. And then Rob Havenstein, who I did not know was hurt enough to be on IR. I know we've had some things with Big Rob over the course of the season. And then Tyler Higbee. I had mentioned it to Tuna on Tuna and the Sheriff. I had said, like, do you think that adding Muse, that tight end, was like, do you think that that means that one of our guys might be dealing with something? And he was like, I don't think so. And then it was like, I don't know, man. It's like, how many tight ends do we need? How many white dudes can play tight end? We just add them all, man. Like, so, Tyler Higbee going to IR, that one definitely surprises me too. But I do think that this means that we could start to see a little bit of a Ferguson, wave, I suppose. So I think it's good news for Terrence Ferguson. Not that we ever want to see Tyler Higbee down, but I also will kind of check it with this, that I've kind of been operating under this very well could possibly be our final season with Tyler Higbee. So I really hope that we haven't watched our final game. He's one of those legendary guys. Came in the 2016 draft class with Jared Goff and has been around here ever since. So I hope we haven't seen the last of Tyler Higbee rocking Rams uniform out there on the field, but we'll see how he's feeling, if he's able to come back this year, and if he comes back next year for the Rams. He is under contract, but you know how this works. So was Coop. So we'll see what happens. And then the Rams did add outside linebacker Jesse Luketa to the practice squad. And then Rams did claim as well Christopher Smith II off of waivers from the Raiders. So he is a 5th-round pick in 23 to the Raiders from Georgia. He's a Bulldog, and he's under contract until the end of next season. So if he's awesome, we can kind of keep him around for a good price as well. There's no dead cap to cut him after the season, or even right now if we wanted to. So if Q Lake comes back and we decide Smith ain't doing it, then we can just get rid of him with no real harm, I suppose. But yeah, that's what happened there. He got waived by the Raiders, though, and we snagged him up there. Let's take a look at some milestones we are keeping our eyeballs on. So Matthew Stafford, I know we talk about him every single week with these things because he's all the way up there. He's marching to Canton with the way he's performing and racking up numbers. But he needs 426 passing yards to tie Matt Ryan for 8th most in NFL history. Matthew Stafford is currently 1,074 behind Rivers in 7th, which means that he would need to average 154 yards a game for the rest of the season to tie that. He is 1,722 behind Big Ben in 6th in NFL history, which would mean he would need to average about 246 yards a game for the rest of the season. It's absolutely doable. That's absolutely doable. And Rodgers is the 5th place, and he is, of course, still playing. He's a little hurt right now, but he is still adding to those numbers, so we won't be chasing him down quite yet. But we're closing that gap, though. Closing that gap a little bit. Also, Matthew Stafford currently leads the NFL in touchdown passes with 27. Next behind him is Dak and Jared Goff. They both have 21 each. The record for the Rams is 41. Matthew Stafford and Kurt Warner have done that. He is currently on pace, though, for 46, which would also tie for 7th most in league history with 2011 Drew Brees, which was a damn good version of that guy. Also, there are 35 quarterbacks in the NFL now. 35 quarterbacks with 32 teams. 35, 32. 35 quarterbacks have more interceptions than our starter, Matthew Stafford. Wide receiver Davante Adams got his 1,000th football on Sunday. He is now tied for 16th all-time with Hines Ward, who ended his career with an even 1,000. He needs 24 receptions to tie the Reverend Isaac Bruce all-time. Bruce was passed by Keenan Allen this season, so Bruce slipping down those charts a little bit, but by the time when he retired, he was way up those lists, so obviously his bronze dome sitting in Canton, Ohio is very much appropriate. Davante Adams also needs 3 receiving touchdowns to tie Antonio Gates for 7th most all-time and 8 to tie Larry Fitzgerald for 6th most all-time. He needs 3 touchdowns in any capacity to tie John Riggins and Antonio Gates for 15th all-time in NFL history, and that's any form of touchdown. You get your person into the end zone, and we're looking at possibly having a top 15 all-time touchdown scorer on our roster this year. He just needs to get in there 3 more times to be in that company. He also currently leads the NFL in touchdown receptions with 9. Amon-Ra has 8 in second place. 10 touchdown receptions. If he were to just stop playing right now, that would be tied for 7th most in Rams history in a single season. Rams record is 17. That was done by 1951 Elroy Hirsch. 21 Cup had 16. So Devontae, absolutely on fire, man. Yardage, not necessarily for us, at least. He had 1 yard last week. Should have been 2. I won't even get into it, but 1 yard. Puka Nacua, he is currently 3rd in the NFL in receptions behind just CMC, hilarious, and Jamar Chase, who will serve a 1-game suspension for spitting on our boy Jalen, dude. What the heck was that all about? Jamar, get out of here with that, man. Also, Puka, currently 4th in the NFL in receiving yards. He is 2nd, though, in receiving yards per game. He did miss that game, of course. And then he's played less games than everybody who has more yards than him. And then he is currently tied for 28th in the NFL in receiving touchdowns. So probably not a triple crown year. Might be able to get a double crown, though. And just as cool. Some connections that we're looking at here. Former Rams who are now on the Buccaneers. Quarterback Baker Mayfield, the Rams legend, shows up 48 hours outside of game time and then leads a 98-yard game-winning drive against the Vegas Raiders to win at SoFi Stadium, man. That pass to Van Jefferson. As soon as he launched it, it was like, yo. That was crazy, man. So, yeah, Rams legend Baker Mayfield. I'm so pumped that I got to go to a game where he was the quarterback. I got to go to the game after that, which was in Green Bay on Monday Night Football in December. Unbelievable environment. It's the best, one of the best trips of my life, for sure. But absolutely incredible. So I'm glad I got to see that. It sucks that he did like the thing to the Raiders the week before. Then we lost in Green Bay. I got to see his 100th career touchdown pass, and then Tyler Higbee become the Rams' all-time leading touchdown scorer for tight ends in franchise history. So that was cool to see in person. And then the following week, I think it was the following week, he shows up and just destroys the Denver Broncos. And as a Colorado native, that was the best Christmas of my life. To watch my home team get wrecked by my real team 52-0 on Christmas Day. That was delicious. Absolutely delicious. Also, they are rocking with defensive lineman Greg Gaines. I think Greg Gaines' best tackle of his career was pulling down Traven Howard in the NFC Championship game after he got that pick on Jimmy Garoppolo. He's like, just end the game, dude, end the game. He tackled him. I thought that was awesome. Punter, Riley Dixon, he was around for a short time, spent some time in Denver after the Rams. Now he's with Tampa Bay. Skip Pete, running back coach. He was former running back coach for the Rams. Skip Pete, awesome coach. And then a little bit of a throwback for you here. Quarterbacks coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Thaddeus Lewis, dude. Former third-string quarterback of your St. Louis Rams. Pretty cool stuff. He did get some action in there. I want to say he was wearing number 4 at the time. He wore a couple numbers with the Rams. I want to say 12 and 4. But he was wearing number 4 when he played some games. And I don't know what it is, dude. Number 4 looks so sick on a Rams jersey. I have no idea why. My number's 9. That's always the number that I buy when I buy customs. 4 is the number that I would give Carl, my cat. I don't know. I had a little version of it. So he's number 4. And I don't know why. I don't know when I decided that, but it does feel right. You know? Maybe 3. Nah, 4. 4 on the flow. All right. Yeah, so that's your former Rams on the Buccaneers. Let's head into our matchup here. We're going to take a peek at the Rams offense going against that Bucs defense. Rams on offense have a top 10 unit. They are 9th in the league right now, putting up about 370 a game on offense. And the Bucs, 23rd in the NFL, giving up a little over 360. Passing the football, top 6 unit here for the Rams, about 247 a game. 27th ranked pass defense for the Buccaneers. That's where they're slipping. The rushing attack for the Rams, 114 a game. That's 18th in the league. And Bucs giving up just over 100 a game. It's 10th in the NFL. Average points being put up 6th in the NFL for the Rams. They're putting up about a little over 27. Buccaneers are giving up 25. That is tied for 22nd. Third down conversion. The Rams are doing 38.7 of those bad boys. That's tied for 17th, so just under the midway point of the NFL there. And then Bucs defense, 39.8%. That is also 17th in the NFL. The Rams as a team, but obviously it's just Stafford, are first in the league in passing touchdown percentage and second best in interception percentage. So protecting the football and also punching it in, Matthew Stafford's absolutely on fire in those departments right now. And we've gotten a good enough sample size where it's not like, oh, that was just a good 2 or 3 game stretch. It's like, oh no, he's been doing this all year. His most recent interception was the first drive of week 3. That's been a while. Like I said, 35 quarterbacks have more interceptions thrown than Matthew Stafford. And there's been a few that you're like, that made me nervous, but none that you're like, oh, that was a straight up terrible play. Like that was a terrible decision, terrible throw, terrible play. Like that hasn't happened as much. We used to be able to tell you that it's like, I mean, it's like Matthew Stafford's good for one ball a game where you're like, what the heck? But that really hasn't been the case that much lately. It seems like those what would have been a what the heck throw, he's tending to throw like at people's feet because they're covered or something like that and just get rid of the ball, get to the next play. So I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Matthew Stafford, but that's also like yeah, and also water's wet. I don't know if you knew that. So some opposing players that we're keeping our eyes on in this game, obviously injury reports, we're still kind of waiting on a few of those. But Yaya Diaby, he leads the team with 4 sacks. He does get to the quarterback, 10 hits on the year, and 7 TFLs for Diaby. What I will say is, like, when I first saw these numbers, I was like, all right. Like, my face was literally like, but it was like, oh, yeah, I'm judging those numbers like compared to Jared Verse and Byron Young, which isn't fair, especially for Diaby, who's a good player, but like, you need to put him against our dudes. Those guys are those guys are maniacs, man. Not everybody's a maniac. All right, sometimes people are just good players. That's what Diaby is. Next up, cornerback Jamel Dean, 3 picks on the year. He does lead as a team there. He is rather high up on the list in the league. The league leader has 5. There's a bunch with 4, 3 obviously right below that. He's still dealing with a bit of an injury. He does have a pick 6 on the season. He has knocked down 6 passes, 2 forced fumbles on the year as well, and a sack, which means he's getting involved in all kinds of different ways and fashions. He's helping out in the runs. He's attacking when the ball's out. He's obviously been able to get home on a sack. So I don't know how often they necessarily do that, but it is something he is at least capable of. And obviously, like I said, 3 interceptions, 6 passes knocked down. Jamel Dean, very good player, obviously. And nose tackle Vita Vea, a dense little pocket in that Buccaneers defense. It's kind of like the best way I feel like I can describe how Vita Vea is. But he feels like he might have gravitational pull. He is 6'4", 347, which is still 145 pounds lighter than the Rams kicker punter duo. Just saying. That's a big boy, but that's a lot. He needs a lot of weight to add up. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Best one-on-one for Rams offense versus the Bucs defense. I'm going to go with Davante Adams versus Jamel Dean. I do anticipate that there will be some traveling going on with Dean, which I do think obviously opens up stuff for Puka Nacua, but we talk about that every single week, so I don't want to hammer that too hard. But what I will say is that Davante Adams is on what I would consider a heater. Like, he is doing a really, really good job. He's just not getting as many looks. I mean, the last week was a hard one. 1 catch, 1 yard, 1 touchdown. That's a very difficult one, though, because the Rams got absolutely smoked in time of possession, smoked in first downs. I think we had 12 first downs in that game. Like, shout out Seahawks defense. They did a great job against us, but also I think that's one of those things where it's like, we just didn't really have opportunities in that game. It didn't. Each game's got its own vibe, its own personality, and stuff like that. And that game last week just didn't really cater to the Rams and what they like to do on offense. It's okay, though. Still came out with a win. Lots to learn from, which is at least good news there. But Davante Adams going against Jamel Dean, this is certainly a matchup that I'll be keeping my eyes on. When I see Davante go out wide, I'm going to be looking at who's on him. When it's Jamel Dean, probably pay a little bit more close attention to that matchup, because that's some good stuff. 3 to see for the Rams side here. We're going to start with quarterback Matthew Stafford, who is having his best career season. He is off to, I don't even want to say off to an unreal start or anything like that. We're week 12, dude. He's having a great season. No bones about it, man. Matthew Stafford, a 27-2 ratio. He's way up there in passing yards. He's crushing everybody. But I always say that because when I'm having these conversations at the bar, I always kind of like cap it with like, but he's also throwing to Puka and Davante. He better be doing that. Like, that's, if he's doing anything, well, I don't say anything less, because those are crazy numbers still. But like, if he is doing like worse than this, we got problems, dude. Because you got 2 future Hall of Famers that you're throwing footballs to. And maybe a third in Terrence Ferguson. I don't know. Who am I, man? Who am I to say that he's not going to be, or Mump? Who knows, dude? Who knows? But Matthew Stafford, obviously, he's just leading this team in such a way that is unreal to watch. He's got complete control, it feels like. The no-looks are unbelievable. He's pulling them out all the time on everybody. No one's safe. Don't look at him, okay? Look at who's out and open, dude, because that's where the ball's going. All right, you don't look at Matthew Stafford. That does not tell you where the ball's going. Look around you. Find somebody who's not covered. That's where the ball's going, all right, because Matthew Stafford sees him, and by the time you look over there, you look back at Matthew Stafford, he's making direct eye contact with you and then scoring touchdowns over here. You know? Pretty sick, actually. Next up, running back Kyren Williams. So K-Dub, obviously, on the ground attack here for the Rams. This is going to be, it feels like a game where you're going to want to just jump out and then control it. So the plan in my brain, which, you know, I'm not like in meeting rooms or anything like that, but my plan in this game is very much just like jump out, score 2 or 3 as quick as you can, bring out the run game. Mix it up with K-Dub and Blake and just kind of see how that shakes. You know what I'm saying? So Kyren, obviously, very important to every one of our football games. He's an extremely talented player. He's got his court-mandated touchdown that he gets every week. Those are the rules. I don't make them. But obviously in this game as well, going against a team that can stop the run. They this team is 10th against the run. Very in line with where the Rams rank. I think they only do like 0.3 yards better, which is exactly right. So, yeah, they're solid against the run, but also there's a lot of ability to pass on them. So I think that a lot of teams are just kind of choosing that route. Yeah. And the last one on our 3 to see here, I want to go with wide receiver Puka Nacua. It's so easy to put him on this list, just like it is easy to put Jared Verse on this list. But Puka Nacua, man, for this game specifically, this just feels like, and I don't even know how to explain that. I don't even know if that makes any sense. The feeling of just like, oh, this is a Puka game. Like, this is a game where Puka just goes crazy, right? Like, because like they're going to put attention on Devontae, especially in the red zone and stuff like that. But now we've got Puka Nacua, who's just going to be eaten up underneath. And in fairness, like his average yards per catch is like pretty low in the NFL. But those first downs, those quick hitters, those just like you need 2 yards, you know who to get the football to, stuff like that. And then just everything that he's doing, route running, ability of body control, knowledge of where he's at on the field as well as everybody else to drop a butt cheek into the field of play so you can get a reception and stuff like that. I mean, it's unreal, man. A lot of things that this team is doing is unreal. Coming off of a game where the Rams offense did not get going, though, I'm really excited to see what they can do against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have shown the ability to give up points. Their offense is very, very good. They can give up points, though, for sure. So we'll see what happens there. Keys to success in this matchup, I'm going to go with the Rams offense. Just like I said, sputtering a little bit last week. The idea is that this week will be much better ball control and sustained drives. We want to see better on third down. We want to see longer drives. Just, you know, giving your defense chance to catch their breaths a little bit more than we did last week. Like 22 minutes of time of possession last week is god-awful. We got to improve that number. You got to make sure that your defense isn't just getting absolutely winded out there like crazy. Flip over to the other side here. Rams defense going against that Bucs offense. Bucs on offense right in the middle of the road here. They're about 346.5 yards per game. Rams are 17th, giving up 341, passing the rock 222.2. That is 15th in the league for the Bucs offense attack. And the Rams give up 222.3, so 21st in the league. If the Bucs put up 222 passing yards, checks out, dude. Checks out. Rushing the football, 22nd in the league for the Bucs offense. They put up 110 a game. The Rams give up 100.7. That's 11th in the league, just behind the Bucs defense there. Average points being put up, 10th in the league for the Bucs offense, just over 25 a game. Rams give it up just over 17. That is second in the league. And third down, almost 39% for the Bucs offense in conversion rates. And the Rams giving up under 35%, which is 5th in the league. Some notes here. Obviously, the Rams defense doing a great job. I mean, points, I think, is the biggest thing. You can look at the Rams giving up, you know, they're 17th in total yards, 2nd in points, and 5th in third down, which means, like, yeah, you can move the football on first and second down. But when it gets to third, those screws get tightened up. And not giving up a lot of points, not giving up a lot of third down conversions. But it is a little bit of like a wait and see. That bend but don't break, which I kind of hate that phrase. But it also does feel very accurate for how the Rams operate on defense under Chris Shula, which is very much like, yeah, you can get 10 yards from your own 20 if you need to. That's cool. Go ahead. We don't have to crush your soul that hard. You know what I mean? Like, but if you get to the 50, we're tightening it up. You ain't scoring no points. Like, you can get from the 20 to the 50, sure. 30 yards, have them. That's cool. Go ahead. That's when it ends, though. You know what I mean? So I absolutely love that plan from the Rams defense. I love that they were able to tighten that up. Rams defense is 7th in yards per play and 2nd in takeaways, only behind the Chicago Bears, who, by the way, are averaging 1 takeaway every 5 drives. What? That's crazy, dude. Chicago Bears defense is nuts right now. Rams defense also 7th in passing touchdowns allowed and are tied for 1st in rushing touchdowns allowed. So obviously that's where your points are getting as well, keeping those bad boys low. Rams defense blitzes less than only the Bengals. Only the Bengals blitz less often than the Rams, but the Rams are 7th in the league in pressures. So those 4 dudes getting home, and that is helping that secondary out a ton. They talked about that on some show this week for the Rams. I don't remember exactly which one it was, but they talked about that they trust that those guys are going to be able to get home, and then you can keep extra people in the secondary, which is messing with offenses. When you have the ability to send in 3 or 4 dudes and get to the quarterback still, 25% pressure rate on 17.8% blitz rate. We're pressuring way more than we're blitzing. That's good news, man. And that just means your front is absolutely full of maniacs, which we already knew, but is good news, of course. Some opposing players we're going to keep our eyes on here. Obviously, Baker Mayfield, the Rams legend. We already talked about him a bit, but Baker Mayfield, obviously extremely talented quarterback and can kind of turn it on at any moment. And that's why I'm putting him on here, is like he may be having a game where it's like, yeah, he's doing okay. He's fine. But then out of nowhere, he puts together a drive where you're like, who else can do that? There's 4 dudes in the league that can pull that off. And he's one of them. It happens to be. So Baker, obviously, quite the path for Baker Mayfield. A couple of stops out there. Cleveland, Carolina, obviously came over to the Rams. So settle into a home in Tampa Bay. Happy for him. If we didn't have Stafford, I would hope that Baker was our quarterback today. But we got Stafford, so I'm okay with this. Mika Egbuka, incredible rookie wide receiver. Obviously, he is in that group with Baker Mayfield dealing with an illness on Wednesday, not practicing, which we obviously don't want to see. Any edge you can get is cool, I guess. I didn't choose this, so I guess whatever. But obviously, we want to play people at their highest capacity. Not only because if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and if you want to beat the best, you got to play the best, kind of thing. I used to say it a lot, but also in the sense of like we're getting into the playoffs right now, we need to know where we're at. And so we want them to be at their best so that we can kind of say like, okay, that was their best version of themselves and we won by this much, or we were able to do this, or we lost by this much, so we need to get this much better, kind of thing. And it kind of just helps you gauge yourself. If you're beating up on teams that are terrible and beat up, like it's hard to judge this team based on the win against the Baltimore Ravens. What does that even mean? You know what I mean? But then you can look at a game like last week against the Seattle Seahawks where it's like, oh, that's a really good, strong win. They played damn good football and the Seahawks were healthy and fine. So that's kind of where my brain goes to it, is like I want everybody to beat their best so that I know exactly how good the Rams are. Because in my heart, they're number 1, dude. But my brain is like, well, not all the time, But right now, absolutely, they're way up there, if not the best team in the NFL. They are in that conversation. And then I'm going to end with Chris Godwin. I'm actually not sure if he's going to play here. He didn't play last week, but was limited. I don't know. So we'll see how that goes. I'll also kind of just throw in a Bucky Irving, too. He's been missing some time, but is looking like he's going to be coming back here soon. Thought he might get in there last week, but then didn't. So, but there's just some, let's call it what it is, some really talented players on the Buccaneers offense. We can talk about plenty of names. Obviously, we kind of lucky, I guess. We don't get to play Mike Evans. I say we don't get to play Mike Evans. I think he's absolutely awesome. We don't get to play Mike Evans, which is unfortunate. He's kind of just, he's had his prime. I love that dude. I'm a Texas A&M fan. Diego Maggie's. But like, so he's had his time to be at the top of the league and stuff like that. But it's just kind of a bummer to see him kind of starting to get beat up and stuff like that. It's like, oh man, these meat puppets tend to fall apart. No matter how incredible you are as a human being, no matter how athletic and stuff. It's unfortunate. Best one-on-one, Rams defense going against that Bucs offense. I'm going to go with Nate Landman versus Baker Mayfield. And the reason that I'm going with this is because Quentin Lake got added to IR right now. Captain Q, who was the green dot for the Rams last year. So clearly a big presence. And also he was having his best career season. So it's really unfortunate to see him go down. We may get him back for the playoffs. Is kind of the word, but it doesn't look like we'll be getting him back regular season, which is unfortunate for sure. But Quentin Lake being out, Captain Q, I think that Nate Landman now has a little bit more pressure on him. Not that I think that he's going to like do poorly with that or anything like that, but I do think it's a little bit more pressure now. It's like, okay, now we got two young guys behind you. You don't have Lake behind you anymore. You got the Cams. You got Kinchins. You got Curl, and Tank will be in there as well, Jalen McCullough. So you got some younger guys in there. So just a little bit more of a glance back, like making sure everybody's in their spots kind of thing. So I do think that Nate Landman, his role is extremely crucial while Quentin Lake is out. But Baker Mayfield, it's his job also to try to trick Nate Landman and try to call out things that Nate's picking out and trying to get his way around that. Obviously, wiggle his offense down the field is the goal. You knew that. We're going to go with 3 to C on the Rams defensive side here. I cheated in this one, and I don't even care. So I'm going to go with the Cams, Kinchins, and Curl. Curl has as many solo tackles in the season as Bobby Wagner. That's awesome. Kinchins coming off another 2-pick game versus the Seahawks. I think he hates the Seahawks. He's got to, right? I mean, every time he plays them, he's like, I'm gonna crush them, stuff them down. Curl also, by the way, 20th in the league in total tackles. So he's flying around. He's doing an incredible job. And Kinchins, now he is definitely going to have an increased role with Lake being out. So definitely the Cams. Time to maybe make that a sweet little combo. Not that I want to lose Lake or anything like that, but historically speaking, the Rams haven't been excited to pay safeties, so I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I would love that to happen, but just again, historically speaking. So yeah, Cams is my number 1. And number 2, V8 and BY. I make the rules on this show, and I can use 5 people on the 3 to see if I want to. 2 games without a sack for the Rams defense. These maniacs are going to start to get hungry, man. And who's going to get the wrath? That's the biggest question, right? Who is going to get the wrath? It might very well be Baker Mayfield. These guys are going to start to get hungry, man. And we're going to start to get a little antsy. We were way up there in sacks. I think the Rams are like 9th in sacks now in the league. Coming off 2 division games where Rams were not able to get any. And that just, I think, goes to coaching on those teams of just kind of being able to spot things, and you can start to get to know each other a little bit, so they kind of know what to do. And all of our division knows, get the hell rid of the football. Like if you're doing a 5-step drop, you're messing up, man. You got to grab that football, find the laces, get rid of that thing. Like that's pretty much what you got to do against the Rams. Otherwise, you're getting absolutely smashed by Jared Verse, and nobody wants that, dude. Nobody wants to. You look up and you see a number 8 flying at you. And I feel like his face is probably like, blah. Probably. But obviously, like I said, 2 games without a sack. But those guys are still way up there in pressures. They're still getting there. They're still making moves and stuff like that. But against a team that, in Todd Bowles' coached team, that is not a division opponent, former, but not currently, then I do think that this is an opportunity for the Rams to start to get home on the quarterback. And then last, we're going to stick with Nate Landman. He's all business, man. It feels like he's just here to play some football, and he's killing it. I absolutely love that. He's 10th in the league in total tackles. He does lead the Rams in that regard, but it does feel like he just doesn't care about anything else but football. He just wants to play ball and do a good job. It's like people even talk, like, whenever they bring up, like, do you like the nickname Landman? And he's like, sure. He's like, whatever, dude. Like, I just want to hit somebody. Like, just Nate Landman out here just like, That's my impression of Nate Landman. Nailed it, by the way. Keys to victory on the Rams defensive side here. I'm just going to say continue to get off the field. They've done a really good job of that. Obviously, 4 turnovers last week on Sam Darnold. But just keep doing that. Put your offense in good position to just get short fields, and then let Matthew Stafford go to work, dude. You get defense to get a couple turnovers. Tell Stafford to clock in. game over, man. That's it feels like it really can be that simple sometimes. So just like turn the ball over. We're at the your 40? Good luck, dude. Matthew Stafford could do that all day, man. He doesn't even have to. Literally could do it blindfolded, man. He doesn't look at his receivers anyway. So what's the difference, man? So I'm going to say that again for this game. Turnovers, I think, are going to be critical. Bucs offense can score, so getting them off the field, ruining their rhythm, definitely going to be critical. And I wanted to mention some special teams notes here. I don't have a special teams section here, so I just wanted to kind of toss these in. Oh, we are going to go way over time. Shout out. Bucs have 2 return touchdowns on the year, but they have also given up 2 return touchdowns on the year. Rams have basically given up on the knuckleballs that we saw earlier this year with Cardi. Rams have kicked 29 touchbacks. That is most in the NFL. In second is the Dallas Cowboys with 15. So very much just booting it out, getting rid of it. Rams said F it and just reverted back to trusting the defense despite field position. So that's cool. Rams touchback percentage on punts is tied for 9th best in the league, which I absolutely love. And Rams lead the league in inside 20 percentage. So Rams are tied for 3rd in total punts inside the 20, but we punt a lot less than some other teams. So those numbers incredible. And then obviously you have, like moments where Ethan Evans puts the punt at the inch line, and you're like, that's what? Yeah, who said it? Somebody mentioned that. It was like, you can't do it better if you walked it down there. Like, that's exactly where you would put it if you walked the ball down there and was like, I'm going to put it here. Like, that's where you would put it. So that's absolutely unbelievable. And then random trivia for you. I'm not sure what you guys are supposed to do with this information. Random trivia here. All right. I'm going to go with this one. You can feel free to answer in the comment section below. What combo weighs more? Okay. Jake McQuaid and what is it? Hold on. I'm a liar. Okay, I'll just do this one. Let's do a different one. Oh yeah, I lied. Take it all back. You guys are watching a whole thought process unfold right now. This is great. Okay, what combo is heavier? Davis Allen, Rams tight end, and outside linebacker Josiah Stewart, tight end, outside linebacker, or Ethan Evans and Harrison Mevis. Combo weighs more. What do you think? Make sure you check out our game preview on Friday on First and Tuna podcast, as well as the Ram Showcase YouTube channel. Will be on the for Tuna and the Sheriff. That is 7 a.m. LA time. Audio version also is available just about everywhere: Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. So be sure to check us out there. But big old football game going on. Sunday Night Football. Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading to town. Baker Mayfield and the boys coming on to take on Matthew Stafford and our Rams, man. It should be a fun matchup against 2 really good teams who are both, jockeying for playoff position. So obviously these games are absolutely massive. NFC games are already massive no matter what, but you put this bad boy in November in prime time against another team who's jockeying for position, and you got yourself some just good old-fashioned perfect football, dude. Nothing to complain about.